Oh, all right. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Deep Stretch. My name's Stacy, and I'm super excited to have you all here today to just start moving our bodies. And so, no matter what time it is for you, when we get on our mats, we want to just bring our attention to what we're here to do, and that is to deep stretch today. So, if you are standing on your mat, go ahead and just begin by walking in place. And as you do that, kind of just move your right shoulder to your ear, then your left shoulder to your ear, and then pushing that shoulder down and away. We're just going to kind of get our shoulders and our neck ready as we're just walking on our mat and just bringing that focus to what we're here to do today, which is really give our bodies time to just sink into stretches, letting all of our muscles just kind of melt and really open up. You can stay stationary on your mat. You can have your feet shoulder width apart if you like, and we're just going to roll our shoulders backwards. So pushing your shoulder blades back together, push them down, and then roll those shoulders forward. Good. Just really slow. You don't have to be fast. And go ahead and go the other way. So just reversing that direction. Good. Now, if you're ready, if you can just hug yourself. So I want you to take your right elbow or your right hand, and hug your left shoulder, and then have your left hand hug your right shoulder. If you can't quite reach your shoulders, you can hug your elbows. You're just going to try to do that as tight as you can. And we're just going to stand here right now, and we're going to breathe in through our nose and exhale through our mouth. And try to walk those fingers a little bit closer, a little bit closer to your spine. Just kind of trying to wiggle that in. We're going to do a couple movements with our right arm on top of our left arm, and then we're going to switch arms. So you're going to inhale, and as you exhale, I want you to rotate your torso to the right and let your head follow your shoulders. And you're going to rotate as far as you can back. Your your head can look over your right shoulder. Inhale, exhale, come back to center. And then you're going to inhale, exhale, rotate towards the left. So right now we're just hugging ourselves as tight as we can, rotating our torso as far as we can to the left, looking back over our left shoulder. Good. Come back to center. Inhale. As you exhale, I want you to hinge at the hip and then come down into a forward fold, but you're still hugging yourself. So you're just coming down to bend down. You can let your arms hang as much as they can and your head. Good. You're going to push your right shoulder towards the ceiling. So you're going to rotate your torso again, but you're in that forward fold. So inhale. Exhale, push your left shoulder, towards the ceiling. And you're just looking where your elbows are going, which probably should be the opposite wall. And you're just doing a little twist in that forward fold position. Good. Come back to center. You're going to push that right shoulder towards the ceiling, looking towards the right. Just a little torso flexion. Inhale, exhale. Come back to center. Inhale, exhale, come back to standing. Good. Now, if your right arm was just on top of you hugging yourself, you're going to put your left arm on top. So take your left hand and hug your right shoulder. Take that right hand and hug that left shoulder with the opposite arm on top. We're going to do the same thing. Just gives it a little bit different of a stretch depending on which arm is on top. You might find you can go deeper into the stretch or that you're a little bit tighter on this side. So we're going to rotate to the right, adjust our torso, letting our head follow where we're rotating to. You're going to try to rotate as far back as you can, inhaling and exhaling. Come back to center. Inhale, exhale. Rotate those elbows and that torso towards the left. Try to go back as far as you can. Right now, we're just getting some really nice stretches in those shoulders and in our mid-back and our spine. Inhale, exhale, come back to center. We're going to do that forward fold again. Inhale, exhale, slowly go into that forward fold, but we're still hugging ourselves. Just really try to keep hugging yourselves nice and tight. You can let your head hang and your elbows hang down. Go ahead and rotate your torso towards the left from that hinge, from that forward fold. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Rotate to the right. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to center. Go ahead and drop your hands now. Just drop your hands towards your toes, and if you can lay your palms flat on the ground, you can. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Inhale. Slowly come back up to center. Beautiful. Let's adjust our feet to be more of like a narrow hip width distance. I want you just to raise your hands up above your head. So raising our hands up above our head, I want you to imagine that there's a ladder above you and your feet are going to stay stationary. You could have a slight knee bend. Your tailbone can be heavy. So almost feel like there's like a little weight on your tailbone. And you're going to imagine that you're climbing a ladder with just your arms, reaching up each rung, just so kind of reaching that right hand up a little bit higher than your left hand. Good. I want you to have a long neck. So pretend like someone's pulling your top of your head towards the ceiling as you do that. As your tailbone is just kind of weighted and down. And what we're doing is just trying to create that long spine, creating space between each vertebrae. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful job. Go ahead and shake it out. We're just going to shake out our arms. We're going to shake out our legs a little bit. Perfect. We're going to do some calf raises just to kind of activate our calves and our hamstrings and our quads a little bit more before we stretch them out. So you can have your hands on your hips or at your sides. You're going to lift your weight up onto the balls of your foot. I want you to hold it for like 1 or 2 seconds, really squeezing those calves, and then come back down. Nice and slow and controlled. So we want to have a really good, strong foundation. If you're a little bit wobbly or off balance, just don't bring your heels as high. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful job. We're going to take our feet out nice and wide. So let's take our feet out nice and wide. You can have your feet at an angle, like a 45-degree angle, so pointed away from your body. I want you to take your right hand and I want you to reach up towards the sky, reaching over your left ear. I want you to reach over your right, let me start again. My feet are out nice and wide. Take your right hand up, over, reaching towards your left, over your right ear. You're going to just reach and stretch to the left. Now that left hand that's like hanging at your side, I want you to reach that towards your right pocket, almost like creating a nice little C shape with or an S shape, with our body. Let your head hang. Don't feel like you have to bring it up as you hold this position. And we're just breathing. We're getting a little bit of a leg work in here. You can engage that core if you want to get a little core work. And we're just reaching and stretching. If you can go a little deeper, feel free. You can bend that left leg to go a little deeper into that side stretch. Bringing our attention to our obliques for that night stretch. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back up to center. Beautiful job. We're going to do the same thing on our left side. So taking our left hand, reach it up above our head, over our left ear towards the right side of our body. Take that right hand that's just hanging out by your side. You're going to reach towards your left pocket and you're just going to hold this position. And I really want you to breathe. And as you use your breath, use it to extend that stretch a little bit further. So going a little deeper into that stretch. Once you're a little bit uncomfy, you want to go a little deeper. So you don't want to be in pain when you're stretching, but you also, once you start to feel that release at about 30 seconds, you want to go a little deeper. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful job. We're going to take that, we're going to stay right where we are, just in center. We're going to take that left foot, and I want you to turn that left foot about 90 degrees out. We're going to kind of go into a warrior pose if you know yoga well. So my right foot stays where it is, that 45-degree angle, and I'm taking my left foot and turning it out 90 degrees so that it's pointed away from my right foot. So my body is open on the mat, my legs are open, but I'm going to rotate my torso or rotate my shoulders towards my left foot. And I'm going to lunge. I'm going to sink my weight into that left leg so that my knee doesn't pass my ankle. And I'm just going to take my shoulders and just point them towards my left foot so that my whole body is twisted and pointing out towards my left foot. And you can take your hands up and you can just put them in my left hand pointing towards my left foot and my right hand pointing away towards my right foot. So nice open warrior pose. And you're just really working on not only strengthening, but stretching different parts of our body. Where you feel that, you can lean into it. And we're just holding this position. And we're breathing. Good. So always have to have a little bit of strength when we do deep stretch. For about 10 more seconds, and then we'll come back to center. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, exhale, come back to center. And you can adjust that left foot to be back at that 45-degree angle, just like we would for sumo squats. Now you're going to take that right foot and turn it out 90 degrees so that it's pointing away from your back foot. You can bring your hands up if you like now. Left hand is pointing towards your left foot. Right hand's pointing towards your right foot at shoulder height. And now I'm going to just look at my right hand and I'm going to lean my weight on to my right foot with a slight knee bend. My knee should not cross my ankle for another warrior pose on the right hand side. And we're just breathing, holding this position, letting weight and gravity deepen that stretch and that strength. You want to have a really nice, firm foundation. If you're a little bit wobbly, go ahead and take that knee bend out. That is okay. Beautiful. About 10 more seconds. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. Beautiful job. For this next kind of pose and hold, if you will, it's going to be like we're in our sumo squat, but as we're in that deep squat, just holding it and kind of pressing our knees out, our arms are going to just be up like the YMCA. So we're kind of making our body an X, but we're going to be in a squat at the same time. So inhale. As you exhale, lower into a squat like we're about to do a sumo squat. Have a nice high chest. Sit back into that chair. Now put your hands out nice and wide like we're doing the YMCA. You can have your fingertips spread nice and wide. We're just holding this. If you want a deeper stretch in your chest, push those shoulder blades together. And you can make a nice wide chest as you look up towards the sky. And we're just holding and breathing. Good. So if you need that stretch in your arms, feel free to move those arms up and down, squeezing those shoulder blades. Wherever you find a spot that needs a little more stretch, just hold it there and breathe. About 10 more seconds. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can go ahead and put your hands down and then walk it out. So go ahead and bring our feet together and just let's walk it out on our mat a little bit. Good job. We're going to do just a couple little more things with our shoulders and hips before we go down into tabletop position on all fours. I want to just open up our inside of our underarms a little bit more. So we're going to just do some really nice, slow circles with our arms. To do that, though, I want your feet to be hip width distance. I do want you to engage your core. So I want you to pull that belly button towards your spine. And then I want you to take your fingers out nice and wide and just begin drawing circles with your hands, really slow and intentional as you reach back, squeezing those shoulder blades together, as your arms come up and forward, reaching towards the ceiling. And as you push them down, keeping your head nice and long as your fingertips push towards the ground. So really slow and intentional while keeping that core engaged. Good. Go ahead and reverse direction. Good. Inhale, exhale, and go ahead and just drop those arms towards your hips. I want you to place your hands on your hips, and we're going to just do some hip circles. I don't want us to push our hips out. Instead, I want us to have nice slight knee bend. And I want to just, moving from our hips and our hip flexors, we're just going to rotate our hips just from our hip flexors. So really flexing our pelvic floor forward, then pushing our pelvic floor out, almost like if we were on the ground doing pelvic tilts. So instead of kind of pushing your knees into lock position, your butt going way out, or your hips coming way forward, we're just doing micro movements of the hips, just kind of making sure that they're ready to do a little bit more work when we get on all fours and then on our backs to do some stretching. Good. Go ahead and go the other way, nice and slow. Sometimes when this happens, we might have some crackles and pops. That's not a bad thing. Go ahead and do figure eights. Beautiful. Inhale, exhale, and we're going to go down to all fours. Do a little shoulder mobility. So we're going to just go down onto all fours. My knees and my hips are in line. My hands are flat on the ground with my fingertips spread nice and wide. We are going to start with some cat-cow before doing some shoulder mobility. So we're going to start with cow. I want you to just let all that air out of your belly and just let your belly hang, letting it drop down towards the mat. You can even push your belly button towards the mat if you want. And then you're going to just bring that head up for cow pose. Inhaling, big inhales. Feel free to like shimmy. Sometimes when you're just waking up or even when we've been sore all day, you can shimmy as you're doing this and breathing, feeling where your body needs to move. And we're just holding cow pose right now. Letting that neck extend, clearing out any like coughs. Sometimes if we look down a lot at screens, when we start to extend our neck up and out, you might feel like you need to cough. Go ahead and do that. It's just because our muscles have been shortened because we haven't been using them. All right, on that next inhale, exhale, we're going to go to cat. Inhale, exhale, tuck that pelvic floor in, push round those shoulders towards the ceiling and push that spine towards the ceiling. And then go ahead and bring that head down, tucking your chin to chest. And we're just holding this inch by inch, letting that spine climb towards the ceiling. We're breathing. Even if you're muted, I want to hear you breathe. So when we're stretching, we're releasing anything that's just stuck in our bodies. And so to breathe, that helps us just release it. Good. Shimmy those hips a little bit. See if you have any tightness in your hips or your shoulders. Good. And now we're just going to flow between cat and cow. You could do it on your own breath count. On that next exhale, go ahead and go to cow. Good. Just fluctuating between both. Beautiful. All right, we're going to do some thread the needle in just a moment. Feel free to just wiggle those hips out. If you need your wrist to have just a minute of a break, feel free to do that. We're going to do some thread the needle stretching to get some nice mobility in that shoulder and that subscapularis. We're going to take our right hand, we're going to face our palm towards our face. And then we're going to scoop that right hand through our left arm and our left knee. So that pocket or that hole between our left hand and our left knee, that's where that right hand's going to go. But I really want your palm to be facing up. Now from here, you can lean your weight into your right shoulder. You can also just stretch that way by just having gentle pressure on your forearm, on your right shoulder. You also can go down to your left elbow to get a deeper stretch into that right shoulder. And you're just going to be looking towards your right hand. So you're just kind of just letting that, it's called thread the needle. And that weight and pressure is going to just put a nice stretch on our shoulder. Don't do too much, just really listen to your body. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to all fours. You're going to take that left hand and have that palm face your face. And then you're going to thread those fingers through where your right elbow and right knee in between those two. And you're going to just press that left shoulder into the mat, whatever way it works for you. And you're going to look towards your left hand. Really just getting a nice stretch in that left shoulder, holding it. A little more focus on some shoulder stretching today. If you didn't notice, it's why we started with the hug and the forward fold. Really opening and lengthening that spine. Letting gravity do the work when stretching. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to all fours. We're going to go into child's pose. So I want you to take those heels together. You're going to spread those knees out nice and wide. You're going to take your arms out so that there's no arm bend in, and press those hips towards your heels for a nice child's pose. If you're able to, you can rest your head on the mat. You can also drop to your elbows and rest your head on the mat that way. Getting a nice stretch in your upper spine. Just breathing and letting your head relax. Again, letting gravity do the work. Good. Now we're not going to do it yet, but from here we're going to go to our bellies into cobra pose. And if you want, you can do it in one fluid motion. So again, we're still in child's pose, but what you'll do when I say go is you'll press those hips towards the mat, extending your legs, and then pressing your hands up so your chest comes up into cobra pose. I'll go slow, but I just wanted to give anyone a chance to go right into that flow if that's comfortable for them. I know we have some yoga goers here. So on our next inhale, exhale, we're going to go onto our bellies into that cobra pose foundation. Inhale, exhale, press those hips to the mat. You're going to just lay on the mat. Your hands should be about where your armpits are. You're going to press your chest up, keeping your elbows locked into your sides, and then looking up at the ceiling for some cobra pose. And as you do that, I want you just to let your belly relax into the mat. If you want a deeper stretch in that lower pelvic region, you can move your hands back towards your hips to get a little more leverage, to get that hips kind of pressing in as you're looking up towards the ceiling. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful job. We're going to sit on our bottoms and we're going to take our legs out nice and wide. Good job. As their legs are out nice and wide, I want you to just try to inch them out wider and wider as we do this kind of next series of deep stretches. So what I want is to always have a little bit of discomfort in that inner thigh, maybe even behind your knee or your hamstring. I don't want it to be painful, but I do want you to notice how it feels right now. And then we're going to check back in with our body after we've done this little series of stretches to see if our feet are wider, to see if we feel looser. So all we're doing as we're in these positions right now, you might have your legs in this straddle stretch for about 4 minutes as we do these different stretches, as we're letting that fascia break down so that we can, again, go deeper into those stretches. And that takes 30 to 45 seconds. It takes 5 minutes sometimes, depending on how much stress and striations we have in our muscles. So take those feet out nice and wide. I just wanted to talk a little bit while we settle into that, depending on how tight we are in this straddle stretch. I want you to sit up nice and tall. Now, I always like to say this, we want to make sure we have a long neck. So if your shoulders are creeping up towards your ears, I want you to push those shoulder blades down as your neck reaches up towards the ceiling, as your top of your head reaches towards the ceiling. And breathe. We're still in that straddle stretch. You can even point your toes back towards your glutes to see if you get a different stretch. And all we're doing right now is just breathing as we have that nice tall back, good tall neck. Letting all the air come from our lungs. Good. Take that left hand. I want you to reach it up towards the ceiling. Reach it over your left ear, and you're going to slowly reach it towards your right foot. Your right hand can pull the top of your toes towards your body if you want, or it can just gently rest on your leg. What we're going to do is hold this pose for about 90 seconds. And each 30 seconds, I'm going to say, see if you can go a little deeper. Using your breath. You don't have to hold your head up. Your head can actually just relax on your right shoulder, but we're just reaching and stretching towards that toe, getting a good oblique stretch, and then also hopefully a really good hamstring stretch too, or an inner thigh stretch. We've gone about 30 seconds. I want you to go a little deeper. Sometimes I put my hand underneath my calf or like where my ankle is, and I just pull my body closer to that leg, using it as leverage. That helps too. And with each breath, each exhale, I let myself sink deeper into that leg. And sometimes I like to just repeat the word release. If something's really tight and it's uncomfortable, I just say, let's just release this. Let's just let it go. You can say it 3 times, you can say it 5 times. Yesterday, I went to the chiropractor, and he always tells me that I need to relax. Apparently, I'm not very relaxed when I'm getting adjusted. And I was like, he's like, you need to relax. I'm like, all I do in my head is say, relax, relax, relax while you do this. And we laughed. Last 30 seconds, see if you can go a little bit deeper. Good. If you want, you can pointer flex your toe to see if that feels a little different. You can also, if you flex your toe and you lift your leg up a little bit, that will move your heel out a little bit away from your body, and you might feel a different stretch there. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back up. Let's adjust those legs again. So move that straddle stretch out a little bit more. Go ahead and point your toes as we're just sitting up nice and tall. Again, drop those shoulder blades down from your ears. Pretend that you have a nice, pulley system kind of pulling your head up towards the ceiling. And we have a nice, long, strong back. Go ahead and flex your toes now, so toes can go towards your face. We're just recalibrating before we go to that other side. Good. All right, we're going to inhale. As we exhale, bring that right hand up to the ceiling, reaching over our right ear. Reaching and stretching towards that left foot. You can point or flex it. My left hand can be on top of my leg or underneath my leg, pulling me closer. It can also be pulling my toes towards my nose. And we're just going to stretch. I will let you know when 30 seconds has passed to be able to go deeper. Using our breath, every exhale, can you sink a little further into that movement? Just allowing our body to just send up little flags to say, this is a little bit tight here. This might need a little more attention. And as our body does that, us just bringing our attention to that, trying to sink deeper with our breath into that space and reminding our body that they can release that tension. Breathing. Good. All right, we've gone about 45 seconds, so go ahead and breathe deeper into that stretch. Can you move those legs out a little wider? Just flexing or pointing your toes make you feel or get one of those little yellow flags that says, hey, stretch me a little bit more. I need attention, caution. Good. And just like before, if you want, if you point your toes back towards your glutes or like away, kind of turning those feet out, you might feel a little bit different of a stretch. We have about 20 seconds left. Inhaling, exhaling, and going deeper, letting your head hang. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back up. We're going to do a straddle stretch forward fold, but before we do that, I want you to just again adjust those legs out a little bit. See if you can get that straddle stretch anymore. We're going to sit up. Again, sit up. Make sure that those shoulders are not in our ears, so push those shoulder blades down. And right now I want you to push your shoulder blades together, so make a nice high chest. I want you to look up towards the ceiling, and I want you to look up and away towards the ceiling as far as you can, extending that neck. And we're breathing. I'm sure most of you have heard of that technique term, maybe not, but basically, you know, we have a lot of devices these days. And so we look down a lot and we don't realize how much we're tucking our chin to our chest, which shortens all of our pectoral muscles and our neck muscles. So when we do this, when we bring our head up and we look up and we're stretching our neck, that's why I said you can cough sometimes. And that's just kind of breaking up anything that's stuck because we haven't been stretching our neck in that way. And then also, if you have like a neck hump in the back, you know, sometimes that's from lymphatic system, from not moving as much, but also it can just be from just that poor posture. I am terrible at posture at work. I actually talked about it with my chiropractor yesterday. I just get really locked in and I don't move enough. And so we kind of put together a couple techniques for me to do with a timer. So I take little breaks and I do a stretch for my neck. All right, go ahead and bring that head down to just a regular place. We're going to inhale. As we exhale, bring those hands up over our head. And now we're going to go into that forward fold, reaching our fingertips away from our glutes. Now, as you're doing this, you can bring your hands out and you can touch the ground. But if you feel a deeper stretch with your hands hovering, that's okay. So you're going into a forward fold, but if your hands are just hovering over the ground and you feel a deeper stretch than when they relax on the ground, then just hold that position and imagine I'm on the other side, gently tugging your hands to keep you into that stretch deeper. As we rotate and kind of move and shift our weight with gravity, we find different ways that like our body needs to be stretched or released. And so I just want you guys to explore that. You don't have to do everything I'm saying exactly how I'm saying it, because our bodies are all different. I want you to look down as you're doing this, even if your hands are hovering. I want you to just look down and really try to push those fingertips away. So if your fingertips are on the ground, or even if they're not, walk them away or push them away, rounding those shoulders, tucking that chin to chest to get a deeper stretch. Good, into this forward straddle or the straddle fold. Good, and we're just holding. Again, you can point or flex your toes. You can shift your weight left to right if you feel something needs a little bit more. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to take our legs in now. You might need to do it a little gently. We've been in straddle stretch for a minute. We're going to take our legs to butterfly stretch. So just take your time. Sometimes when we've been in one position for, I think we were in that position for about 4 to 6 minutes, it might just be a little bit tender. And I just want you to just kind of just be in butterfly pose. So we're going to have our feet all the way together, and our feet, like there's a zipper connecting them. They're going to be zipped up. You can pull those heels towards your glutes. And I want you to just to sit up nice and high. Your hands can be on your knees, or they can just be relaxed. And I just want you to think about, how does your inner thighs feel after that straddle stretch? Were you able to go deeper? Did you feel things releasing and then you could move deeper into it? If it felt like your hips were tight when you were pulling your legs in, right now what I want you to do is pull those heels of your feet for your butterfly towards your glutes. You can use your elbows to press your knees down, but I want you to shift your weight to the right and then shift your weight to the left. I want you to shift your weight back a little bit and then forward a little bit. So in this butterfly stretch, we're going to just do that. We're going to actually just draw circles with our weight, shifting our weight a little bit forward, to the right, to the back. This is engaging our core a little bit, almost kind of like, what are those called? They're like the wobble dolls, I guess you say. It's just basically like we're trying to do a wobble. I forget what they're called. My grandmother had them. So drawing circles in this butterfly stretch, go ahead and go the other way. And I want you to point out in your brain any place that feels tighter than another, because we're going to find that and we're going to hold for 30 seconds to kind of release that tension. Good. So inhale, exhale. I want you to find a spot where you felt more tension, whether that was leaning forward, backward, or on the side. You're going to push your weight into that a little bit more. So shift your weight to that spot, and we're going to breathe and we're going to hold, and we're going to ask our body just to release that tension. Now, if it releases faster than 30 seconds, that's okay. You can find another spot. We're just going to hold. Good. About 15 more seconds. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Take those legs out nice and straight. Beautiful. Now, if you're able to, you can have your legs zipped up. So from your toe all the way to your glutes, you can have your legs pressed together. If that's not comfortable, feel free to put them out a little bit wider. That is okay. We're going to just do a standard forward fold first with our feet out straight in front of us. I just like people to feel the difference of doing a forward fold with our legs straddled or with them together. We're going to inhale, exhale, bring your hands up over your head, and then you're going to reach forward towards your toes and just breathe. Now notice if your feet naturally, as you go into that fold, rock out. And what I mean by that is that your feet roll out. Try, if you can, to keep your toes so that they're pointed towards the ceiling, so that your toes, ankle, and shin are making a 90-degree angle. If it is uncomfortable to do that as you're doing a forward fold, that's okay. It's just a different stretch than if your feet were to go at like a 45-degree angle. So just paying attention to kind of how we're stretching and what that feels like. Feel free to point your toe and feel free to flex your toe. Good. I want you to take your hands down. So sorry, inhale, exhale, bring your hands down and go ahead and place your palms of your hands just behind you. So you just kind of look like you're honestly on the beach, just relaxing for a second. From here, with my hands just firmly planted on the ground behind me, it's kind of like I'm already pushing my chest up. I want you just to let your head hang back. Again, exposing that neck towards the ceiling. And I want you to use your elbows and kind of push your shoulder blades together as your chest pushes up, and almost like your belly's pushing up towards the ceiling. And just letting your head hang back. Just another little chest opener. Using that breath to let that chest open and that belly rise and fall. Looking up towards the ceiling, again, to just get a nice little neck stretch. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back up. We're going to do our figure 4 stretch now. Excuse me. So we're going to take that. We're going to take our right leg first, and that outside of our ankle, the outside of our right leg, we're going to place it just on the left quad. You can do it above your knee, or if your knee is a little bit more sore, you don't like that feeling of your kneecap shifting, place it just below your knee, between your knee and your shin. Great. Now, if you like, you can do this 2 ways. You can just pull your right leg towards your body just for a nice figure 4 stretch, or you can put your left foot so that it's firmly on the ground, kind of in that angle position like when you're about to do a crunch, and then that right leg can go just above the knee, pulling that towards your face. So you can pick either way of how you want to do that figure 4 stretch. We're just getting a nice stretch in that outside hip, getting that hip flexor, and we're just going to hold. Good. Now, as we're holding our next stretch, we're not going to go very far. We're not doing it yet, so I'm just going to explain it as you guys are holding and pulling that figure 4 stretch towards your body or towards your face. That right foot is going to just slide a little further so that it goes on the left side of your left leg, just firmly planted on the ground. So kind of doing that the figure 4 stretch a little bit deeper, and then we're going to turn away from it. So I don't really know what this stretch is called. I'm forgetting. However, I think if I can explain it, you guys will know exactly what it is once we do it. So we're still in the figure 4 stretch right now for about 5 more seconds. And you're going to keep that position while I explain the next one. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that right foot, keep it crossed in front of your body, and place that right foot firmly down on the ground. So it's just across my body on the left side of my left knee. And then you're going to turn away. So from this position, you're going to take that left shoulder, left arm, and place it on the right side of your right knee, doing a little twist. And you can look away, looking at your right shoulder. And we're breathing. So today we really focused on torso flexion and spine. I don't want to say separation, but basically creating space in our spine. Really focused on straddle stretching inner thighs. We're going to hold this for 20 more seconds, and then we're going to do the other side. We were getting about 60 to 120 seconds of each stretch, depending on which one it is. And also because the stretches were building on a flow, you were getting deeper and deeper in some poses, while also then activating new stretches with the kind of the next edition of the pose. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. You're now going to take that left, outside of that left ankle for a figure 4 stretch, and pull that towards your body. That left ankle can live just below your knee or just above your knee. If you want, you can place your right foot firmly on the floor and help bring that leg up towards your face. Or you can just pull using both hands, pull that ankle and knee towards your body to get a nice stretch on the outside of your hip flexor. You should be feeling this in your hip flexor on your left-hand side. Some people feel it gets deeper if you lean forward. So if you shift that weight forward, you can do that as well. I always encourage people just to kind of shift their weight, even if they're rocking a little bit, to find where it's a little bit tighter. You might find that the left side is tighter than the right side, or vice versa. And we're just breathing and holding. Good. We're just holding. Try to go a little deeper. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the bottom of your left foot and place it on the ground on the outside of your right knee. Go ahead and take that right hand and reach it towards your left knee, rotating your torso away so that your head is looking at your left shoulder and behind you. Good. And we're just breathing and holding. This is one of those stretches that we built upon. So you're not quite in that figure 4 stretch, but we're still stretching that outside hip. It's the counter stretch on the opposite side to that figure 4 stretch. Good. Almost done. Inhale and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go on our side or our belly for our quad stretch today. So this is really going to be personal preference of how easy it is for you to grab your like ankle or your heel to pull it toward your glute for a quad stretch. Some people like to be on their side from this angle. You're going to take your right ankle, bring it towards your glute, and then use your right hand to pull that heel closer to your glute. Some people like to just tug on their shoe, on their pant leg, or if you're flexible enough, of course, you can grab that lower ankle. And we're just going to pull and then lift up slightly to get a really nice stretch in our quad, which is that muscle on the front that connects from our pelvic floor to our knee. So you feel free to do that whatever way you want. You can do it from your belly or you can do it from the side. And we're just pulling and stretching to get a nice stretch in that quad. Some people find that having something to grab onto, like the inside of their sock, allows them to just get a little bit deeper of a stretch. That's fine. You can let your head relax as you're doing this. I do it from the side personally, but some people prefer it from their belly. Good. We're just breathing, allowing that quad to release. We did so much hamstring, oblique, outside of our hip flexor, pelvic floor work. We did a ton of spine and shoulder and neck. Now we just got to get that quad for 15 more seconds. And then we're going to go to the other side. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful job. Go ahead and either if you're on your belly, stay on your belly, or if you're on your side, go ahead and roll to the other side. Go ahead and grab that ankle or the top of the leg, pulling that heel towards your glute. You might find on this side you're more flexible or you're tighter. Let's just breathe into that space and into that tightness and tell our body that it can release this tension. That's what this time on the mat is for. Just allowing our body to create space. We don't need to hold on to tension. We don't need to hold on to that stress. We can just let it go. Our body has survived every day with us this far, so this is the time we can meet on the mat and just take care of it. We did the hardest part by showing up today. We've been going about 50 minutes. We got a few minutes left of class, so we can just go deep into this stretch and really just let anything else that's lingering, any of that tension, just fall and melt away like an ice cube. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently let that leg go. I would like you to go onto your backs of your mats. So lay nice and flat onto your backs. You can have your legs fully extended out. And I'd like you to bring your hands up above your head, reaching and stretching one more time. Imagine that I'm gently pulling your hands up above your head. And then imagine that Crystal is gently pulling your toes. We're doing it very gently. We're probably giggling a little bit. Just a nice little stretch of that body. Good. Now, when you were a kid, or even maybe you did it this year, there was the thing like snow angels, right? Where you're going to bring your hands down, palms facing up towards your pockets, and then you're going to bring them back up again. And as you're doing that, your legs are going out nice and wide and opening up nice and wide and then closing. So we're going to just do some snow angels. I want your hands to hover a little bit and your legs to hover a little bit, just swinging those arms out and legs out nice and slow, engaging our core a little bit, just for a little bit of fun and also just a little bit last bit of stretch. Good. I want you to inhale, exhale, and place your feet flat on the ground. Palms facing down near your hips. I want you just to stretch your neck out and drop those shoulders down, pressing those fingertips towards your heels. Just, again, elongating that neck and just stretching the back a little bit more. Good. Now you can pick a comfortable pose for a little bit of just breath and relaxation into the mat for about 2 minutes for like a little savasana. You can go into fetal position or like curl position on your side. You can stay in this position, or you can go into dead man's pose, palms facing up, body fully extended. And we're just going to breathe. Close your eyes. Inhale. Exhale. And I'm just going to talk to you while we breathe because I love talking. We have about a minute left in class. I want you to bring your attention to the top of your head. Now your forehead. You can kind of scrunch your eyebrows if you want and then let them go. We're just going to find any places left that might be a little bit tight. Go ahead and crinkle your nose. Move your face around a little bit. Open your mouth nice and wide and just let any tension fall away from your face. Now we're going to bring our attention to our neck, our nice long neck, and our chest and our pectoral muscles, and our biceps and our shoulder blades. We really did some nice stretching in our chest, but I just want us to breathe. Thank our body if they showed us anything so far that needs a little bit deeper of a stretch. Inhale and exhale, we're going to go down our arms, wiggle our fingers, the middle of our back, where our lungs are, going down to our belly. Anything else that needs to stretch, we can wiggle back and forth a little bit. We're going to feel into those hips and those hip flexors and those glutes, all that work we did in our glutes with our quads and our hamstrings. Go down to our knees, check in with our knees. How are our knees feeling today? Then going down to our calves and our soleus and our shins. You can kind of point and flex your toes if you want. Just check in. Are they feeling loosey-goosey or still tight? Then going down to our ankles and then to our toes, just wiggling our toes. Anything, any area that showed you that you just need a little bit more work, you're just going to bring that to the surface right now. And you can go ahead and lean your weight into it to just stretch it out a little bit more. Or you can just breathe for the next 20 seconds without me talking. And just thank your body for showing up today. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Wiggle those toes and fingers, and let's go ahead and just sit up, crisscross applesauce. Take your time. You can make two muscles if you want, and you can give your right muscle a kiss, your left muscle a kiss. You can give yourself a high five or 3 pats on the back. Thanking yourself for showing up today. And that is class today, everybody. Happy deep stretch.